Hi guys, it's Ava. Most of you know me as an intern here at Blue Sprig. Today I will be doing a skills training with you guys. Yes, it is online, but you will probably hear me talk kind of like we're in person also, just because I would prefer it to be that way. But since this is technically for school, it is online today. So I am going to act like this PowerPoint is shared with you guys and that these materials are also all shared with you guys. But if I talk about things about being in person, I am pretending like I am sharing it with you guys also in person. And also, I also want to note that if it was in person, I would save room for y'all to jump in, ask questions, all the things. But since it's online, I'm going to try to move through it quickly. And I only have 10 minutes and I have so much to go over. So behavior skill training is what we're going over today. I want to note in the very beginning, I am teaching you guys how to implement behavior skill training, not any specific behavior or skill. So it does get a little confusing with the words, but I am teaching RBTs how to implement behavior skill training to clients. And you'll see later on, it can be used for other people, but for you guys, y'all will be using it on clients. So let's jump in. So we need to go over what is behavior skill training. It is a teaching model used in ABA, mostly for children on the spectrum, but it can be used for other people. You might use it for staff or parents and stakeholders, but it is just broke down into 4 steps. I'm adding a 5th one that I was taught, and it's broke down into steps just to teach a new behavior or skill. There are benefits and challenges. We'll go over those also. So why? Why did I pick to talk about this today? Well, I picked to talk about this today because I truly believe it's so important, and teaching new skills and shaping behaviors is the backbone of what we do. So BST, you also hear me call it that throughout, is a great way to do it. It has 4 simple steps that I believe truly get a new skill, a new behavior stated clearly and taught effectively. So let's keep moving. Our objectives. I want you to be able to state what BST is and what's its purpose. I want you to be able to state the steps and how they're implemented. I want you to be able to state some benefits and some challenges that you might face when using it. But overall, I really want you to be able to implement BST with fidelity. So who's it used for? As we've mentioned, clients, staff, parents, stakeholders. It's really great for everyone. So some techniques you might use. Task analysis. You're definitely going to use that because you're going to break it down. Shaping, slowly modifying and correcting behaviors with positive reinforcement. Prompting, using cues to guide them through. Chaining, teaching individual steps to complete a task and having the learner learn each step before they complete the whole task together. So let's break it down. So to implement BST, I will give you this checklist. This checklist gives you what you should be doing in each step. It's pretty easy. So we will use this to kind of go off of it. So we have 4 steps. Like I said, I've added a 5th one. So step 1 is instruction. Step 2 is modeling. Step 3 is rehearsal. Step 4 is feedback. Step 5 is observation in the natural environment. So let's break these steps down. Instruction. This is all about clearly stating the skill by describing it and teaching them the why. So you want to define the steps clearly. You might do this through an operational definition. You should know what that means. That is used a lot for behaviors here. You want to define it in a way that Joe knows exactly what you're looking for, and so does Sally. You want to explain this in simple language. You don't want to use a bunch of ABA jargon. In y'all's case, y'all be working with clients. We're early intervention here. Let's keep our language where they can understand the skill or behavior being told to them. You want to tell them the importance. Why the heck should I even engage in this? Why should I do it? Why is it important? Add that in. Let them know why you chose to teach them this new skill or behavior. You might also use a visual. You might break down the new skill and show them while you're going over it in the beginning. That is instruction, and you would check these off as you do it during instruction period. Next step, modeling, all about the show. It's your turn to shine. You're going to you are going to demonstrate the skill that you're wanting from them. So you want to make sure that the client is paying attention to you. The model should include playing both parts, the teacher and the learner. So What did the teacher say? What does the client do? This can be done in person or in video. Like today, I'm videoing for you guys. If you want to video yourself modeling something for a skill or behavior, that works too. You want to perform correct and incorrect examples. So this is huge. You want to perform how to model it correctly, so do the skill right, but you also want to show them like, hey, this kind of looks like this skill, but this is wrong. This is a great way for them to differentiate what is actually a part of the new skill or behavior and what is not. Next is rehearsal. This is all about practice. Now it's all about them. So you're hoping that you've given them the instruction, and now that you've modeled what you want them to do, you're hoping that they reflect and perform accurately. So during this time, you would check off these skills. So provide an opportunity to learn in a safe environment. Create a place that they can practice freely with no judgment. Encourage the learner to practice this skill several times. Even if they don't get it on the first try, continue to encourage them. Prompt is needed throughout. No one gets things on their first try. Let's remember that. Our clients, our staff that we're teaching, our parents, we don't expect them to get it on their first try. Just like I don't expect you to implement behavior skill training correctly on the first try. So allow for safe and non-judgmental practice. Feedback, my favorite. So this is all about reflection. You want to give positive feedback and constructive feedback also. So you would go here to your checklist, some things that you might want to make sure you do during this feedback time. Provide immediate feedback. Focus on positives. Give descriptive praise so that they know exactly what they did well on. Just, oh, that was a great job. No, it was a great job how you put your hand on that handlebar. I don't know, say your goal was to drink from the cup. Just make it specific so they know exactly what they should repeat for next time. If you notice steps that have some area of difficulty, let's move back and provide some extra support and clarification. Step 5, observation in the natural environment. So this one is one I was taught. Not everyone recognizes this as a step, but I do. This is all about mastery and evaluation moving forward. So once a skill is mastered, so it comes out of the room that it's taught in, you want to go and evaluate its effectiveness. Can they do the same thing that they mastered in the training room, in the natural environment with the client? You're wanting to test it, wanting to see. You might also want to add reinforcement to that. When you see it in the natural environment, reinforce it. You might also want to teach the skills to other people around that person so they can also praise and prompt as needed in the natural environment. So that's all our steps. Let's move on. So there are some challenges. Some that you might see are identifying target skills, finding what you want to make the target skill. You might, when you get started, notice that it might not be the skill that you think that it was. You might need to correct what you picked. That's okay. You're in charge here. Of course, with the guidance of your BCBA. But it's okay to realize that the target area did not work. Another one, constant praise and feedback. Yes, that does require a lot of praise and a lot of feedback. Generalization and individualism. You might have challenges with generalization because you taught the skill somewhere or one place. Does it move over to the next? Individualized. You might have to know who your learner is. Your clients are all different, and you might have to construct your steps to fit them best. Time and resources. Behavior skill training does take time. You need to set apart time for it. And it also needs resources at times. Like a checklist, there's lots of steps. There's lots of things that need to make sure that they are done. So you might need to add more resources. There is more descriptive on this document. I please ask that you review it and bring up any questions later on. So I also went into detail on how I would address these. But the biggest things is just making sure it's individualized. You're testing it in different areas for generalization. You're making sure that you're looking at data, knowing that these skills need to be targeted. You're creating time for these behavior skill trainings. You're also using resources, asking for resources. Please also read this to go further in detail. So real world example. Once again, this is in great detail. Spent lots of time on this, so please read over it. But it is giving the real world detail of you using behavior skill training to implement BIP implementation. So this one, for example, is for staff. I did this because I am going to be a BCBA and I am working from the perspective of staff, but it all applies the same. So it's talking about what would be that instruction? What would be that operational definition for BIP? Why is BIP important? And then move it into modeling. How do I implement a BIP? And then rehearsal, letting them implement the BIP. Giving feedback on areas that they did well implementing the BIP. And then observation. I'm going to observe them in the natural environment on how they implement the BIP. Like I said, just for the sake of time, got to move quickly, but please check this out. This has great detail, and I think this helps sum up really how behavior skill training works. Do you have any questions for me? I always like to save time for questions. I know you're online, so we can't like that, but like I said, please reach out to me if there's any questions. I will provide a couple of extra resources for you guys on behavior skill training. I've left a conclusion here that just reiterates the importance of this, and the importance of a checklist, and the importance of going through those checklists and making sure that you're implementing all the steps in each of the steps. Because like I said, you're breaking it all down to teach someone something brand new, or construct a behavior that might be challenging or new for them also. All right, I believe it skipped over this. So this is the last thing. I want to test your understanding. So if you were here with me in person, I would slide over to you this quiz. It's just a test of your understanding, if you will. So if you guys were here with me, I would give y'all time to fill this out. It's open-ended, just so y'all can add rationale if you'd like, just so I can further understand where you guys are coming from. But if you just have one answer or no explanation at all, that's all right. I would give you guys an appropriate amount of time here, but since it's online, I have shared this with you guys. Please fill it out and submit it back to me. All right, and that would be the end of my training. I did print out the BIP here for my real life example, and if you guys were here with me, I would share this with you guys so that y'all could walk through those steps with me. I am so sorry that I had to talk so quickly, and I hope all of you learned something from today's training, but please go back over this because there's so much more detail and so much more I want to share with you guys, but for the sake of time, that's all I have for today. But please reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.